Here's my little secret. The fee was about £1,000 for that. The renovation vlogs are coming. Tiny Hand thought Fabulous was the best option. It's very easy to make stupid mistakes, and this one girl came up to me in tears. That is soul destroying. I'm gonna start welling up. Never in my life did I think that sentence would come out of my mouth. Hello my loves, welcome back to another little video. In fact, welcome to a new little series that I'm going to start on my channel. So basically, I know we all love a Q&A. I feel like you can learn a lot about a person through a Q&A. It's nice to whack on in the background or sit and watch it with your breakfast, with your dinner, whatever. And I basically want this Q&A series to feel like me and you are on FaceTime, and I'm going to do a different theme for each Q&A. So let me know any theme suggestions in the comments down below. Relationships, moving out, being a dog mum, you name it. But today's Q&A theme is YouTube. I thought this would be a really good one to start off the series strong. I've been on YouTube for 10 years now, so not gonna lie, I do feel relatively qualified to talk about this topic, and I've asked you guys for your questions, whatever you want to know about YouTube as a platform, about having YouTube as a job. I've got a feeling this video might be a bit of a lengthy one, so grab yourself a drink. Feels a bit criminal, but I've got a lemonade in this cup. I'm on a bit of a hydration hype right now, but I needed something different to water. Grab a cup of tea, or grab yourself a tinny, whatever your vibe is. Glass of wine, help yourself. Right, I'm gonna stop rambling because I've been through and screenshotted your questions, and there are a lot. I'm also really excited to film this video because, guys, I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but this video is actually sponsored by YouTube. Stop it. Never in my life did I think that sentence would come out of my mouth. It feels insane, but basically YouTube got in touch with me and said, Han, do you want to talk about YouTube a bit? And I said, YouTube? I'll talk about YouTube anyway. So yeah, today I'm going to not only answer all your questions about YouTube, but I'm also going to tell you my story of my journey on YouTube, everything I've learnt along the way, and basically why it's the best job on the planet. Humble brag. But it could be your job too, and that is what we're getting into. So I think I'm going to do this with every Q&A, but I've categorised your questions into different sections. Today's categories are the following: my YouTube journey, brand deals, management, making money on YouTube, the heart and soul of social media, and advice for new creators. Not gonna lie, I feel very prepared. So my loves, I hope by this point you've got yourself a drink while I've been rambling. Let's get started. The first question is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel? Let me just cast my mind back to 10 years ago. Long ago in a land far away. In a nutshell, when I was 15, I watched a lot of YouTube. So I was definitely inspired by other creators, but basically when I was 15, obviously that's when like your GCSEs are coming up. In the UK, that's our like end of school exams. And I was, and still am, such a worrier. I was so worried about my GCSEs. I would spend every minute of my life revising and or worrying about them, to the point where I literally remember sitting on my bed one day and being like, I need to do something else. I need to fill my time with something more positive, have a little bit of a creative outlet. And I loved watching YouTube anyway, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I've always been a very creative person, so I decided that creating a YouTube channel and using the platform myself would give me a distraction from my GCSEs and from my worrying mostly. And now fast forward 10 years later, I still absolutely love creating YouTube videos, and it's still like a distraction from real life. It's great. This is gonna sound a little bit cheesy, but I feel like YouTube has really shaped me as a person. Like I feel like from the age of 15 to 25, that is such a critical time of your life when you're learning about yourself, you're learning about your likes, your dislikes, your personality, what kind of person you want to be. And all of that for me is documented on YouTube. It's given me some opportunities, and it's really helped me figure out who I am. Wow, that sounds really deep. How did you learn to edit videos? Not gonna lie, babes, it's a process. It's a process that's still ongoing. Even now, if I wanna like add a different type of title to a video, or I want something to look a bit different, or I wanna add a different overlay, or I wanna add like a filter over the video, still to this day, I will just search on YouTube for tutorials of the exact thing that I'm trying to do. And that's what I've done from the very beginning. When I very first started out editing on iMovie, I remember typing in things like how to add background music to a video. Something as simple as that. I've learned every single bit of information on YouTube. I guarantee whatever you're struggling with, type it in, there will be a tutorial. But top tip, make sure you're typing in the software that you're using. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've watched a tutorial for like Adobe Premiere Pro and I edit on Final Cut. So don't waste your time, learn from my mistake with that one. Someone says, what's the best opportunity you've had because because of YouTube. The very first thing that came to mind was interviewing James Blunt at YouTube HQ. That was such a surreal day for me, and at that time in my life I really had to push myself to have the confidence to do that. I went there by myself, turned up with my memory card. It was such a good experience. I learned so much from it and it was just really fun. But some other things, I was on BBC Radio Essex talking about YouTube. That was a really fun experience, never done radio before. All of the different meetup events that have happened over the years, meeting hundreds of you guys at Summer in the City. It was so surreal every single year. Definitely an opportunity that some random girl from Essex never thought she would have. How long does it take you to edit each video? Girl, do you even want to know? To be fair, I know that it doesn't take everyone this length of time, so don't let this put you off, but I would say for me, probably a minimum of 6 hours, and that's like if it's quite an easy video to edit with no background music or nothing fancy, you know, and that's normally a shorter video too. But say like for example my weekly vlogs, I normally edit them over a couple of evenings during the week, and I would say all in all, if I had to guess, it would be between like 12 and 15 hours per video. And the last question for this little section of the video are, what are some of your favourite YouTube memories so far? Again, this took a little bit of time to think about, but I think one of my favourite memories was watching my sub count tick over to 1,000 subscribers, because that is such a big milestone, and I feel like when you start your channel, gaining that audience at the very beginning is such an exciting time, and when you start making videos, that's like in your wildest dreams, but it's so achievable and it takes hard work and determination to get there. But I remember sitting in my bedroom on my computer with my mum sat over my shoulder watching it, and it was like 998, 999, and then it said 1,000, and my mum was like, well done. And oh, it was just so sweet. And that was when I was still in school as well. I went in the next day and my teacher had got me a cake with 1,000 subscribers on it. Honestly, such a milestone. And then when the 100,000 subscribers plaque arrived, that was such a surreal moment. It lives on my shelves just up here. I look at it every single day. It takes pride of place, and it's something that I will have for my entire life. And then I think another favourite memory is just meeting all of you guys at different events. Definitely something that I will tell my kids about one day, and they'll think I was so cool, but they will be so wrong when they think that their mum truly was a loser at heart. Moving on to the second category, which is brand deals. I have a lot of people in my real life ask me about brand deals as well, just because I think it's fascinating to people. And the first question is, how do sponsors / brand deals actually work? I feel like this question is a good place to start. So basically, a brand deal or a sponsorship is when a brand will pay you to advertise their product or their service within a YouTube video or social media content in general. They'll send you the product, you try it out, you tell your audience about it if you love it, and then you'll usually have like a specific link to take them to that product or to that service. In my head, it's kind of like a TV advert, like that's going out to thousands of people. It's kind of the same, but instead of brands putting their money into like TV spend, they put it into an influencer spend who's got a very niche categorized audience. So for example, like a skincare brand, they could put a TV advert out and it could be on at 7 o'clock in the evening, but there's a whole range of demographic that would view that. Or if a brand want to like target a specific target market, for example, maybe they would come to my channel because most of my audience are female, are like between 15 and 30. If they want to target that age group, instead, if they pay me to advertise it, they know that their target market is right there. And the way that it actually works is different, I guess, whether you're with a management or not. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking so much, but I could just honestly talk about this topic all day. So I am with the management, so the brand will either contact the management or the management will outreach to a whole bunch of brands and say, would you like to work with this influencer? Or the brand will contact the management and be like, we want to work with Hannah. They have a little chit chat in very basic terms about what the brand's fee is, about what I can deliver. That's called deliverables. They work out timings together. My management come to me and say, Han, do you want to do this? Yay or nay? I say yay or nay. If it's a physical product, I will receive it and test it out for a while, film the content, send it to my management will send it back to the brand, and then usually they approve it first time and they say, all right, good to go, you can upload that now. And that's how it works in really short terms. Someone said, what's your favourite brand deal you've ever done? Do you know what? The fact that this video is sponsored by YouTube is crazy. This is definitely one of my favourites. This is definitely up there with, I will tell people like, oh yeah, I worked with YouTube. What? But I also always love working with skincare brands. I think because it's something that I'm genuinely really interested in. I like to look after my skin. I recently did a job with Olay and I loved every second of shooting that content. But also, do you guys remember, some of you will have been here for this, it was quite a while ago now, but I did a brand deal with The Body Shop and I was the face of their mango body butter in stores up and down the UK, and it was insane. Like, physically in the shop, my face was on it. When that campaign was running, I visited as many body shops as I physically could to go and see my face, just to be like, oh my god, there I am again. Again, like, what an opportunity. I'm literally just a random girl from Essex. This next one is a good question. Someone said, what's the first brand deal you ever did and how much did you get paid for it? I think it was that game called Best Fiends. It's kind of like Candy Crush. Anyone remember it? And to be fair, I did have a Candy Crush era recently, so I may have to re-download Best Fiends and continue my levels. I was obsessed with Best Fiends. I've got like an itch for it now and I need to scratch. But I just signed with my first management when I got that brand deal and I was so excited. I think the fee was about £1,000 for that and I was shocked. Even now, that is such a lot of money and I'd never even done a brand deal before. It was just crazy to me. I don't think I'll ever take the financial side of YouTube for granted. I think it could be easy to lose touch, but to me, it still feels so surreal that this is my job and I get paid for doing this. I get paid for just making these videos because it still just feels like fun. For me, it's like a creative outlet and I put time and effort into each video and it feels satisfying to do that. And then I get paid at the end of the month and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a job, innit? I feel so lucky to be able to say that, but it really is doable for anyone. Don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of hours, takes hard work, planning and creativity, but I cannot stress to you enough, I am just a normal person and I managed it. Someone said, have you ever had a cancelled brand deal? So you've produced the work and the brand haven't liked it, etc. I don't think so, not from my memory anyway, but usually contracts are signed before the creator creates any content. I guess that's like to avoid that happening. Are there any brands you've worked with that you wouldn't work with again? Yes, so I worked with quite a medical brand in the past, but I didn't really realise that at the time. And it's just the nature of that brand. Like, when you work with quite a medical product, there are so many do's and don'ts. You can say this, but you can't say that. And it just got to the point where I felt like I had very little creative control. I way prefer it when a brand trusts that you know what you're doing and you know what tone works best with your audience. Like this video, for example, it's sponsored by YouTube, but they basically just said, Han, tell your story. And I said, okay, and they've let me run with it, and that's what this video is. It just feels way more natural, probably because I could talk about this topic for England. Honestly, if there's a contest, put me forward. I feel like I should have put these next two questions in the last category, but never mind, we continue. Are YouTube thumbnails important for getting views? This is a difficult one, and I think different people would have different answers. Technically, yes. Like, if you asked probably the sciencey side of YouTube, the ins and outs of it, at least back in the day, it used to be that big red arrows, capital letters would hook an audience and get their attention. I think good thumbnails are important, but not necessarily to get more views. For me, it's more important that my thumbnails all look similar. I think because if you're trying to build a brand, one, it all looks neater when you scroll down your channel. Not gonna lie, I am pretty proud of my thumbnails, but they do take me at least an hour to make. But also, I think it's important that the viewer knows what they're getting from a video via the thumbnail. Like this one of mine, for example, it's giving cozy, it's giving chilled, it's giving multiple things happen in this vlog. You know what I mean? And also, when they all look similar, it means that my regular viewers will spot my thumbnail in their subscription box because they're used to that, they recognise it. That's my stance on it anyway, but everyone's different. Some people do prefer to go for the big red arrows or, I don't know, the capital letters. Just let this car go past my window. Don't mind me, hun. Just chatting. This lemonade is really hitting the spot, not gonna lie. The next question is, what's your favourite memory that you've captured on YouTube? This answer is so easy for me. It's the day that I brought Sunny home, my little puppy, the love of my life. She is genuinely my world. I'm so glad that I vlogged those first few days when she came home because I look back at that video so often. I'm about to go into full dog mum mode now, but it's so easy to forget how tiny they once were. And those first few days, you only live those once, and I'm so glad that I can go back and watch it and literally see her come into the house for the first time, eating her little puppy food out of her puppy bowl. I was so excited to bring her home, and that video honestly fills my heart with joy. Category number 3. This category is, drumroll please, I've already said it, but it's management. And I've already kind of touched upon this in some of my last questions. But anyway, the first question is, how does management work? Do you apply to them or do they come to you? In my experience, I've been signed with 2 different managements and both times they have come to me. Do you pay your manager / what's the contract between you? This is a good question actually, because it's something that I wouldn't have thought about if I hadn't been in this industry. But basically, managers take a certain percentage of your earnings from your brand deals, not your YouTube ad revenue. But they find you the jobs, they've got the contacts, they've got the brands, they put you in touch with them. I create the content, the brand pays the management, and the management pays me my percentage. And for every job, you tend to get 2 documents sent to look over. The first being the brief and the second being the contract. And in the contract, it states the overall fee, and I just deduct my management's percentage from that and make a note of it in my notes. I am such a list maker. I just find it easier to keep track of what I'm earning, and the brief document is where the brand will tell you kind of like the campaign goals or the message they want to get across, explaining the product, explaining the key messages, that kind of thing, you know? So the brief is more about the actual content, the contract is like the legal part. Thank God for my management. Those guys know how to read a contract. I just filmed the vids. I'm so sorry if the lighting is changing a little bit, by the way. It's starting to get dark now. That's how you know you've been talking for too long. But anyway, moving on to category number 4, making money on YouTube. First up, do you make money from views or ads? There are many ways to make money on YouTube, from the ad revenue generated from each video, to the brand partnerships, sponsoring your content, to product affiliate links in the description where you get a small commission if someone buys a product through your affiliate link. So a little bit of everything is your answer. What's the best thing you've been able to buy because of your job? I feel like you were wanting a juicy answer for this question, but I'm really not much of a spender. But to be honest, YouTube allowing me to finance starting my small business is the best thing that it could have given me. Luckily, my mum and dad have always taught me to invest my money. So I decided to invest some of my earnings into my small business, which I now make YouTube videos about. And it's taught me a lot of new skills as well. So it's just all kind of come full circle and come back to YouTube. From making silly little videos when I was 15, little baby Han, to making the money I needed to live and to save, to funding a new business and now creating content around that business. It is a full circle moment, my friends. But if you were looking for a bit of a juicy answer, probably my Louis Vuitton handbag. I'm not a materialistic person. Honestly, I was sweating at the checkout when I bought that bag. But it was a nice little reward for myself for working hard. Got to treat yourself every now and again. Or just that one time. Someone said, do you do YouTube for the money or because you genuinely enjoy it? Do you know what? I was actually talking to a friend about this the other day over lunch, and my exact words to her were, for me, the biggest benefit of YouTube isn't the financial side of it. For me, it's having the freedom to go out and do things on your terms. Don't get me wrong, it's great to earn money doing a job that you love, but also the fact that I can go out for lunch with my mum on a random Tuesday. I don't know, I feel like just being self-employed in general, that is a massive perk of it. I absolutely love creating content, and I get so excited every Sunday morning when I upload. I cannot wait for you guys to see what I've spent that week producing. It feels really satisfying, and I genuinely don't think you need to be a self-made millionaire in this life. Obviously, it would be nice, but if you're happy in your job and it supports you financially, to me, that means you've made it. Category number 5. The heart and soul of social media. Not gonna lie, I was proud of the title for this category. Someone asked, who was the content creator that made you want to start? I used to watch all the Brick Crew. Zoella, Sprinkle of Glitter, Alfie Days, Marcus Butler, Dan and Phil. If they were British and they were on YouTube, I was watching them. Why did you decide on Fabulous Hannah as your name? It's not that creative, but it was actually because of Amazing Phil. I thought it had a ring to it, and I honestly remember in my old bedroom, sitting on my single bed, going on the Thesaurus website, looking for another adjective. Tiny Han thought fabulous was the best option. These days, I think Fab Han has a more casual ring to it, or just Han is fine. I don't think I will ever change my name off YouTube from Fabulous Hannah though. Iconic. 15-year-old me would be gutted if I changed that. The most hilarious thing to me is that I am the least fabulous person on the planet. When I think of fabulous, I think of Sharpay in High School Musical 2. I think of iced tea imported from England, turkey imported from Maine, whatever that song is. I'm a very low maintenance human. Give me a cup of tea and someone's homey weekly vlog, and I'm happy. But it did later create the slogan kinda fab, kinda average, so I mean, it's not all cringe, just most of it. What is your favourite and least favourite part of having YouTube as a career? Oh, My least favourite thing is that because I'm a one-man band and I'm like creating this content by myself, it's very easy to make stupid mistakes. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've filmed a video without the mic on, or like I've accidentally deleted footage off a memory card that I haven't even edited yet. That is soul destroying. And my favourite part about creating content on YouTube, I mean, I love the actual creating side of it. Like I said, I am a very creative person. At least I like to think I am anyway. But I love that, especially on my YouTube channel, I feel like my community is really close knit. Like I have a lot of regular viewers whose names I know by heart, who I've chatted to in DMs. I think on YouTube it feels like more of an equal friendship than it does on other platforms. Does that make sense? I hope so. It feels more both ways. Like I like to know about my viewers. I always ask my viewers to comment what's the best thing that's happened to them that week, and I love reading those comments for a reason, because it makes me feel like I know you as well as you know me. I hope I articulated that well. Fun fact, there are actually over 2 billion users on YouTube. Isn't that such a... I can't even fathom that number, but it still feels so personal. I know there's not 2 billion people watching me, but my little corner of that 2 billion really does feel like a family. And I always say at the end of my videos, actually, subscribe, stick around, join the fam, because that's exactly what it feels like. I'll always remember the day where I was at a YouTube convention and I met hundreds of viewers on this day. This was years ago now, and this one girl came up to me in tears telling me how she loved my videos and they made her feel less alone. And it really hit me that my little videos I'm making on YouTube actually are having an impact in people's real lives. And I think that comes down to creating long form content. I feel like you can create more of a connection with someone. They're choosing to spend 20 or 30 minutes of their Sunday morning or whatever time they would decide to watch me in the week with me. And time is so precious. I don't want to get too deep, but it really is. And people want to watch me, and I want to provide that little outlet for them, or that little escape that I needed when I was 15. Wow, I'm gonna start welling up. Did you always want to be a YouTuber? If so, does it feel like you've achieved a dream? Well, no. Because when I was leaving school, I didn't actually know that you could do YouTube as a job. Back then I didn't know it could be a career, whereas I feel like now, if you ask 10 kids what they want to be when they're older, at least like 8 of them would say to be a YouTuber or an influencer. For me, it was just a creative outlet that turned into a job that I didn't even know existed. But now I realise it is such a dream job. And all those kids that say they want to do it, I say good for you. And does it feel like a dream? Do you know what, for me, the moment where I feel like I've made it on YouTube, it's not when my plaque arrived, it's not when I bought my first house because of YouTube, it's actually when I get messages from my viewers on a Sunday morning telling me that I'm part of their Sunday morning routine. That is crazy, because I have that same routine with other creators, and the fact that I'm part of someone's daily life, I find it bizarre. And when people send me photos of my video up on their TV in their lounge in their home, it's such a surreal feeling. I can't believe you guys want to spend time with me. Thanks. If you all made videos, I'd watch all yours too. And I honestly mean that. Is YouTube genuinely your favourite social media platform? I'm not going to say this just for the sake of saying it. I love all different social media platforms for different reasons, but if I had to only keep one, it would 100% be YouTube. I think from a consumer's point of view, you can learn on YouTube, you can be entertained on YouTube, and from a creator's point of view, YouTube definitely prioritise creators on their platform. Whether you're a beginner or you're an OG, YouTube as a platform want you to do well. Other platforms will come and go, but for me, YouTube is here to stay. And that is why it's the heart and soul of social media. Oh my god, you know when you're watching a film and the title is said in the film and you're like, oh, that's why it's called this. That's why this category was called that. This is a good question. And I often think this about other creators. Someone said, how do you come up with the ideas for your YouTube videos? Here's my little secret. Every 6 months or so, I have what I call a creative day, when I will suddenly have like a surge of creativity or a surge of ideas, and I will sit down and I will plan my videos for like the next 6 months. I don't choose when this day is gonna be. I just feel it in my bones, which sounds so cheesy, but that's the only way I can describe it. I have my little creative planning day, and I film once a week, so that's 4 videos a month, which feels a lot less overwhelming in my brain to come up with ideas for that. And the majority of my content these days is weekly vlogs. It's what I enjoy filming, it's what you guys enjoy watching, but every few weeks or so I like to switch it up and do something different. So that is when I will come up with a new, fresher idea. Sometimes I'll look back at my old videos to see, one, which ones I really enjoyed filming, but 2, which ones did well on the analytics side of things. Or often I'll think about like the future, so the season's coming up. Is it time for an autumn haul? Are we doing a winter what I eat in a day? Do you know what I mean? And I try and plan ahead as much as I can. But now I'm also thinking about like life events. Like I'm going to be moving out and renovating a house, so the renovation vlogs are coming. I am so excited to film those, you have no idea. Basically, break your plan down into month by month and write a list of your content ideas. Then you can kind of like slot them in where you think they would work. If you plan out the dates, you will stay more consistent, which is always great when you're running a YouTube channel. How do you decide on your niche? I want to make sure my videos stand out. My videos are so normal, and I used to worry that I didn't have a niche, but actually I think being normal is my niche. There's so many different types of content on YouTube that everyone has something that they want to watch. Whether you like travel vlogs or you like to see like influencer lifestyles, you know, like when people go to events and stuff like that. It can be quite hard not to compare yourself to those people, but I like to watch the normal, relatable, everyday kind of content. I want to see someone doing their washing up after they've eaten dinner. It's what I find interesting. I like to see people's daily routines, what they do in an evening. And although I think the experiences that come with being a YouTuber are incredible, I think a lot of people also want to see the relatable side of life. So I think finding your niche, find what you enjoy, and kind of think about the message that you want to give through your videos. Do you want someone to be like, oh my god, this is hilarious? Do you want someone to be entertained? Do you want someone to be able to relate to you? Do you want to be informative? Have a think about your end result and what you want people to feel when they watch your videos. Oh, someone asked, who are your favourite YouTubers? Let me have a look at my sub box right now. So the people whose videos I click on straight away in my subscription box: Alice Thorpe, love her weekly vlogs; Brandon and Erin's baby content; Sydney Crouch's baby content; Gabby's vlogs. I basically love real life, but also Ellen O'Neill and Molly Westbrook if I'm fancying a bit of true crime. Is there any aspect of YouTube you wish still existed? I miss watching collabs. I also just miss being 13 though. Like the excitement when the Brick Crew would upload a collab with each other, that feeling was unmatched. And the last question for this category is, what's one thing that surprised you about being on YouTube? It's making genuine friendships. When I was 15 and I started and I was filming videos out in my parents' summer building in the garden, never did I think that I would meet people in real life because of that. And the fact that I've made those friendships and travelled to different countries around the world with those people and made so many fun memories along the way that I never would have made if I hadn't met those people through YouTube. I've got friends who are also creators that I've travelled with. I've got friends that started off as viewers of mine that I've travelled with and we're still good friends now. I've even got friends that I've met through YouTube who I know will be my bridesmaids one day. That is crazy to think. And the final category is advice for new creators. I knew there were going to be a bunch of questions like this. Someone said, I love the idea of being able to look back on memories, but I'm scared to start. Advice to smaller creators. I'm too scared. What do I do? Etc, etc. Create the content that you enjoy watching. Don't worry about what other people might think. Watch tutorials on YouTube if you're learning how to edit. Decide what kind of length videos you want to make and what you can commit to. I enjoy watching videos that are like between 20 and 30 minutes long. I like the content I consume to be a little bit longer form, but not like so long that it's an hour. So that's what I like to create. Try and have a rough idea of like your vibe and your branding, maybe like the colour palettes of your YouTube banner and your artwork. But if this all sounds a bit much, honestly, just take it step by step and watch tutorials for everything along the way, because that's what I did and somehow I've ended up here. And to the person that said they liked the idea of having memories to look back on, I absolutely love that I have that. So definitely start now before it's too late. I love looking back on my old videos now, not that I do it very often because it does make me cringe a bit, but I know when I'm like in my 50s I am going to love looking back at my teenage years. Teach yourself the basics and get started. As soon as you feel that little niggle of motivation, go for it. Someone said, what equipment do you need to start a YouTube channel? So the obvious one is a camera. You don't need the best quality camera though. You can film on your phone if you want to. I personally prefer to watch and film on a camera separately though. I just find it easier when I'm importing the footage onto my MacBook and stuff rather than using my phone. Obviously the actual quality is better too if you use a camera. The camera that I use for my vlogs is the Canon G7X Mark II. You don't by any means need to get the most expensive, the best camera in the world. I do think the quality of the footage matters, but I think the quality of the content matters way more. My vlog camera is a pretty good camera all round to start on YouTube though. Then you're probably going to need a laptop to edit on. I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos. And I just think you need like a genuine love for creative content. You need to feel passionately about it. You need to be creative. It needs to be something that you want to stick at and you want to have fun with mostly. How do you deal with people you know finding your YouTube channel and not being scared of reactions? Girlie, if you want to make it on YouTube, you want these people to know your name and to find your channel. I feel like people are only judgmental until you're successful, so you've got to just change the goalposts in your mind. If you're finally doing something that you've wanted to do, you're learning new skills when you're editing and your confidence is growing. Don't even worry about what other people think. All of the above means you're successful, in my opinion. And the last question for today is, do you think there's room for new creators on YouTube? Always. YouTube is not like a waiting room that gets full up. It's like the universe where there's infinite space. Wow, what a metaphor. There's always room. You're not going to upload a video and they're going to go, sorry, we're full. There's always going to be someone out there looking for new creators to watch. There's always going to be someone that likes the content that you're creating. It might just be the best thing you ever decided to do. It means so much to me that this video is sponsored by YouTube, but to be honest with you, even if it wasn't, all of my answers would have been exactly the same. Like I said, they gave me full creative reign. They basically just said, tell your story. So there we go. So thank you very much to the team at YouTube for working with me on this video. Crazy times. And I also want to say a massive thank you to every single one of you watching this video. Anyone who has watched my channel in the past or will find my channel in the future, maybe you've come back to this one, thanks for joining. The fact that I get to do this for a living and it's so much fun and I really enjoy it and we've built such a lovely community, it means the world to me. And thanks for sending me your questions as well. I really enjoyed this one. That's your sign. Start a YouTube channel if you've been wanting to do it. Let me know if you've got any other questions. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and make sure I get round to answering anything else you want to ask. But anyway, my loves, thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe to see my future videos. Stick around, join the fam. But I hope you all have a lovely week next week and I will see you again next Sunday with another little video. Bye guys, love ya.